So I recently purchased the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the colour Blonde. I'm in two minds about this product. When I first got it, I thought it was the best brow product ever. And now I'm kind of a little bit, I did do my research before I purchased this product because to get it sent to Australia, all up cost about $50, which is quite a lot for just one little brow product. Anyway, everyone seemed to love this product. So before I get into my thoughts on the product, let me tell you what it claims to do. Okay, so Dip Brow Pomade is a waterproof brow colour ideal for sculpting, defining and carving perfectly precise brows that won't fade. Smudge-free, creamy formula glides on skin and adheres to hair. Must have for oily skin and humid climates. Tighten cap to prevent drying. And let me tell you what I thought of it. So what I do like, it is so easy to move around. So when I'm using my eyebrow pencil, it used to be really hard because it would catch and it was just really hard to actually get the colour onto the brow without dragging the brow. And some pencils do tend to be like really hard in texture, if that makes sense. And then usually if they're too soft, they crack or they break off, or I don't know, I'm not a fan of pencils anymore. So what I like about the Dip Brow Pomade is that it's so easy to maneuver on the actual brow. So it glides on so easily. It is pigmented, but it is also quite sheer at the same time. So it's not going to look like you've drawn your brows on with permanent marker, but it does give you the colour payoff when you're putting it on your brows. I'll do a swatch for you now and hopefully you'll be able to see. So this is how much I've used. I've had it for about 3 weeks now. The actual consistency of it is quite light. It's not like a thick creamy formula, it's more like a mousse. So I'll do a little swatch for you. It actually looks a lot darker on my hand here on camera than it does in real life. When you've actually got it on your brows, it appears a lot lighter than that, but I actually really like the colour it's looking on my hand. So because the texture is so light, it does glide on so smoothly and so easily onto the brow, which is really nice because that way you can control the shape of your brows a lot easier than if you're using a pencil, which is really hard to get on. Basically, the entire time you're just trying to get this colour onto your brow and you're not focusing so much on getting the shape right. So I really do like that this is so easy to maneuver. The way I apply my dip brow is with this Chanel angled brow brush, number 12. It is a brilliant brow brush. I've gone through so many brushes. I was using a concealer brush for a while to do my brows because I couldn't find anything that wasn't too floppy. But this one is so sturdy, it does it barely moves when you're applying it. It just goes on so well. So if anybody does not have a good brow brush that they're happy with, I would definitely recommend the Chanel one. It's about, I think it's about $35 for Australia. I have actually done the tutorial and how I fill my brows in, so if you want to check that out, I'll put a link for that down below. And I do use Anastasia Dip Brow in that tutorial. So as you know, the colour I have is Blonde. The colour itself is a little bit too light for my brows. Like when I put it on, you can not really see that I've got anything there. So that's good and bad. I hate brows that look way too dark, like the Scouse brow. No offense if you have a Scouse brow. The colour for me is good though. It's not a gingery blonde and it's not too warm. I saw a lot of people saying that they thought the blonde was too warm, but I actually think it's quite an ashy blonde and I do like the colour. I probably would have gone for a darker colour, except that the next one down was Auburn, and Auburn is like that reddy brown and it would have looked so off on me, and then the colour after that was like a really dark brown, so I had to go with the blonde. They need more colours, I think. I also like that a little of this product goes a long way. So you could see when I showed you up close that I've had this for almost a month now and I've barely even scratched the surface. So when you're applying it, you really don't need to apply a lot at a time. You kind of just build it up as you go. I was mucking around and trying different ways of applying it, and I tried applying a lot at one time, but it goes patchy. So you'll have like a darker bit here, a lighter bit here, and it kind of bunches up, so it's a lot harder to work with. So a little at a time is going to give you the best result with this, but I like that a little goes a long way because it's so expensive. You don't want to have to use a lot of the product to get the result and then run out too quickly. As it says on the box, it does adhere to your brows, and that is true, it does adhere to your brows. So when I'm applying it, it's not as though the colour is going to sit behind your actual brow hairs and then your brow hairs are going to peek through looking all awkward. So it does actually colour the brow hairs in and it will actually kind of stick them in place. So I also use a brow gel over the top just to sweep my brows up because that gives your face a lift. But the dip brow itself will do that anyway. So usually by the time I've gotten to the brow gel, my hairs are already in place, so that's good. Now on to the one thing that I don't like about this product. It claims that it is waterproof. It's not waterproof. If you get water on your brow, it's going to come off. Another thing, it comes off by itself. So even if you don't get water on it, it's not going to stay all day. So this is probably my biggest issue with the dip brow, is that it does not stay. It is not waterproof like it claims, and it will smudge. It's not smudge proof. The first time I wore it in the morning, I applied just my dip brow and it looked amazing. I was really happy with the results. I went to work and after about 3 or 4 hours, I looked in the mirror and my brows had all but worn off. So I had a little bit of product still on the outside tail, but anywhere in the middle was pretty much completely gone. So it looks like my brow started like out here. Obviously that was not ideal. So now the way I apply it, I use my dip brow, but then I have to go back in and set it with a eyeshadow or a brow powder. I just use an eyeshadow. But that kind of defeats the purpose of the dip brow. I'd rather just use a powder and that be it. I don't like having to use a lot of different things on my brows because it just takes too long. And my biggest issue would be the way that it wears. I love the way it goes on, I love the colour of it, I love the texture, the consistency and the look of it, but I hate that it's not going to stay put all day unless you put something on top of it to keep it there. A few things to bear in mind about this product as well. Because it is this kind of moussey, creamy consistency, if you don't put the cap on straight after you've used it, it will dry out. I'm very careful about taking the lid off only when I'm going to use it and then straight away putting the lid back on. If you do that, then you should have no issue with it. It's pretty much the same as a gel liner in that aspect. Another thing with this dip brow is a lot of people like that gradient look with their brows, so lighter at the start and then kind of fading out to a deeper colour at the tail. You can't really get that if you're just using your dip brow on its own, obviously, because it is just one colour. So what I'm thinking I might do is repurchase the blonde when this one runs out, and then also get the brown colour. And I intend to apply the blonde on the inner parts of my brows and then the darker brown colour on the tail, and that'll give that gradient effect, because at the moment I'm kind of achieving that with using the dip brow and a shadow. I'll just show you as well, I have my dip brow on today, so this is what it looks like on my brows. And remember, that has been set in place with my eyeshadow as well. So all in all, I do like this product and I would recommend people to get it. I definitely prefer it to a pencil. I definitely prefer it to the wax and powder little duos. And well, really that's all I've tried. And I definitely prefer it to a powder on its own. So to kind of sum it all up, I like the colour blonde. It is an excellent colour if you are fair haired. It's not too ginger and it's not too warm. It's a really nice ashy blonde colour, so that's going to sit really nicely with your hair, etc. I like the way that it applies. It glides on really easily and it's really easy to manoeuvre as well, especially if you have a good eyebrow brush. It will definitely fill in any gaps in your brows. Like if you already have naturally full brows, this is probably going to be all you need. So that will definitely fill in any sparse areas and it's going to give you that real polished brow. However, if you have barely any brows like me and you're kind of using it as your all over brow product to give yourself brows, bear in mind that you will need to set it with something. If you have this product, let me know in the comments below what you think of it and how you use it, if you've had to set it or not. And if you have the blonde, tell me how you found it, because pretty much everyone that I've read or any review that I've seen, everyone has absolutely raved about it, except Nikki Tutorials. But this is just my honest opinion and this is what I found with this product. So all in all, I do really like Anastasia Dip Brow and I will continue to use it, but there's just a few little niggly things that get my ghoulies. So I hope you found this helpful and I hope you all have a great day. Bye!